Big Joe Newton down the middle making the catch. Alexis Serna, who's missed 2-point afters, Jim, now with a chance to send the game into a second overtime. Now Serna tries to make it, and he missed it! Serna missed 3 PATs, and the Beavers lose it in overtime. 22.
Still vividly remember being on the ground, letting them escape, always thinking that could have been OSU's biggest upset. This is our Oregon State Hall of Fame. This is where all of our football players that have been inducted into OSU's Hall of Fame. So 2 years ago, I was fortunate enough to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. Went in with my head coach, Coach Riley, which was a lot of fun, Mike Hass and Steven Jackson, who were both teammates of mine. That was a huge honor, kind of the cherry on the top of the sundae for me, being able to be into the Oregon State Hall of Fame. This is all of our All-Americans. Got my name up here a couple of times. My sophomore year here, and then that was my senior year. You know, one of the things of point of pride is that we're running out of spaces, so that's a testament of our program and how we're doing here at Oregon State. I had 3 older brothers and they were all playing soccer, so that was my first love. I was playing that all the way up till high school, and then in high school I decided, you know what, I'm gonna try out for football. Freshman year, was playing wide receiver, but I ended up breaking my collarbone. And then the head coach came up to me and said, hey, I heard you can kick. Gave me a ball and a kickoff tee. We went out on the football field. I kicked a few balls and he was like, all right, you're our starting kicker, and just kind of ran with it from there. That couple weeks later, I ended up breaking the school record with a 43-yard field goal and realized, hey, you know what, there's something to this, and started my love for kicking a football and wanting to play in college. Going into my senior year, we were trying to put my name out there, trying to get as much exposure as possible. My kicking coach and another coach I work closely with were helping run the camp here at Oregon State. And the special teams coach was like, hey, we need a walk-on kicker. And so they popped in my VHS tape, hit play, and then I got a call a few minutes later after that from Coach Charles McDaniels and asked me, hey, do you want to walk on here at Oregon State? And I was like, yes, I definitely do. My first year of playing here at Oregon State in 2003, I redshirted. So that following year, we had spring ball and I competed for the starting position. And I came out as one of the top guys, but they still weren't sold. And I remember going into talking to a special teams coach at the time and saying, how do I get a scholarship? And he said, we're gonna wanna see you go 80% on the year. So when I went home and I started looking it up and looking at stats in the Pac-10 at the time, I realized that if I went 80%, I would be top 2 in the Pac-10. So I would be an all-conference player. And I was like, man, they're asking me as a redshirt freshman to come out to be one of the best in the conference. We were going into Death Valley, LSU. They were number 3 in the nation at that time. They were defending national champions, and we were heavy underdogs. We weren't even supposed to be in this game. 92,000 fans screaming. My long snapper would say that when he was snapping the ball, he could actually feel the ball vibrating on the ground because of how loud the stadium was. We ended up going down and scoring, so we were up 6-0. I came out for a first extra point, and I hit it off the right upright. Right before halftime, we got into field goal range, and I ended up hitting a 40-yard field goal right down the middle. So we were up 9-0, beating the defending national champions on ESPN.
Keep playing like the Warriors out there, man. Keep playing like Warriors.
Coming to the second half, they threw in Jamarcus Russell. That was his first game playing. He starts flying around, making plays. They end up scoring, so it's 7-9. And then we end up getting down and scoring another touchdown. And I came out for my second extra point, and I hit that one off the right upright as well. And in that whole entire fourth quarter, I'm thinking, man, if they score a touchdown, all they have to do is get the 2-point conversion and they tie the game. And all I could think about was if I had just made one kick, one of those extra points, this game's over. They end up scoring the touchdown, getting the 2-point conversion and sending it into overtime.
Tails. He called tails. It is tails.
They get the ball first in overtime. They score the touchdown, kick the extra point. We go down. Derek Anderson throws a pass to Joe Newton. We score the touchdown, 21-22. I come out for my third extra point.
A seam route down the middle. Now Serna, who's missed 2 PATs, tries to make it, and he missed it! Serna missed 3 PATs!
Very, very publicized moment for me where I take off my helmet, throw it, fall to the ground, just crying, couldn't look at any of my teammates in the eyes, was apologizing to teammates. I just felt so terrible.
And the Beavers lose it in overtime, 22-21.
I ended up learning some things after that game about fans and just people in general. I started getting a lot of very negative emails, but I realized when things are easy and simple, people take that route and they can take a jab. But then I started getting mail and letters with a lot of support from all over the nation. Got the most important letter from Austin Pierce. And I remember very vividly getting the letter, sitting in front of my locker, and it said from Spokane Children's Hospital. And I remember opening it up, and immediately the Polaroid photo fell out of Austin, and you could tell that he was very sick, lost a lot of weight, you could see a lot of his bone structure, very pale, and he had a beaver hat on. Sorry. But his letter in there basically said that I've had some tough days myself, and if I can find ways to get back up, you can too. And so after that moment, I decided in honor of him and just kind of help keep my nerves calm, I started writing his initials. I'd put an A on this one and a P. So then every time I got the ball and I'd put it on the T, I'd be able to see his initials. Just a reminder that, you know, it is just a game and I should really be grateful for the situation that I'm in. After the LSU game, I ended up getting benched for the Boise State game. The following week, I ended up earning the kickoff job back against New Mexico. And then during that game, John Daly actually missed 2 field goals, and then our special teams coach said, hey, whatever the next kick is, you're gonna take it. And it ended up being a 35-yarder on the right hash, and ended up hitting that kick right down the middle.
On the way, and good! Alexis.
Derek Anderson came out, picked me up, lifted me up. That field goal was kind of a big kick for us because it ended up putting us up by 2 scores and kind of putting the game away. From there, I ended up getting the starting position and never let it go. Had some great games against UW, hit 5 field goals with a 55-yarder, and then just kept making kicks throughout the season. Ended the season 16 for 17 on the season. The last game was against Oregon, and I ended up hitting 5 field goals and 5 extra points in that game, so I almost outscored the Ducks alone. And then the very next day, I actually walked into Coach Riley's office and asked him, said, hey, I don't know if I'm gonna get the scholarship. Out-of-state tuition's pretty expensive because I need to find out if I need to transfer and go to a junior college. And he told me, I was actually hoping to wait to say this at the team meeting. He's like, but we are putting you on scholarship come winter. I remember walking outside of Valley, calling my mom, letting her know that I was getting put on full scholarship. Sorry, even those moments thinking about that, memories always chokes me up thinking about that just because of all the sacrifices she did for me growing up. So super excited to be able to tell her, hey, I'm getting put on a full ride, and afforded me the opportunity to stay at Oregon State. And then that following year, which had a great season again, ended up winning the Lou Groza Award, being the best kicker in the nation. So 15 months later, going from being the worst kicker in NCAA to being the best kicker in NCAA was a lot of fun. Was 4-time All-Conference, 3-time All-American. Just had one of those storybook careers and really look back at it and loved every single moment.
58 yards, a new Oregon State record.
So this is the 2005 Lou Groza Award that I won. This has always been something I'm super proud about. Don't take this for granted. Very, very appreciative and blessed to be able to have this and bring this back to Corvallis to show. And this is something I get to talk to recruits about and saying, hey, you can do this here. It's possible. I had my teammate, Mike Cass, who ended up winning the Blitnikoff. That was pretty neat to be able to see him win the award at the same time as I won my award. You can do all of that here at Oregon State. You can get drafted in the first round with Tali Esafuaga. You can go on stage at ESPN. You can do all of that. After I finished my senior year, I pursued professional football and was fortunate enough to get a contract with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers up in the Canadian Football League. Played for 2.5 seasons for them, got released halfway through my 3rd year. And then after that, decided, okay, I need to figure out life after this. And one of the things that I struggled with at that moment was the thought that all I've done is played sports my whole life. I didn't really see the value in myself. I was like, man, I don't have any experience. I don't have anything to show for these companies. So I was struggling to find what path I was gonna end up going down. We ended up having a networking night at Oregon State, and Frito-Lay was giving a spiel to some players. He said, we don't really care what your degree is. We're just looking for people with strong skills, which student athletes have. Good work ethic, communication, leadership, accountability, time management, all the skills that you're always looking for in a quality candidate. And started connecting with different companies, and one of the companies was Sherwin-Williams. I ended up starting to work for Sherwin-Williams in their manager training program. I went from trainee to assistant store manager to store manager to outside sales rep, and did that all within 3 years. And then they ended up putting me in emerging talent. And so I actually started coming back to Oregon State and recruiting student athletes to Sherwin-Williams. And that was really the kind of start of my beyond football career, just coming back and recruiting and just talking with the student athletes about life is going to be good outside of the sport. And the skills that you develop here at Oregon State are invaluable. They're life skills that are going to help you be super successful. So my very first game, we were playing against New Mexico State. They actually let me suit up for the game and just kind of warm up. But the moment that captured my heart at Oregon State, they started doing the OSU chant, and it was just OSU, and I'd never experienced anything like that. And after that moment, I fell in love and realized that college football at Oregon State is different. The fans in Beaver Nation, they love the school. It's like the support that OSU has to be able to keep showing that football is important, that athletics is important. It goes a long way. And as a student athlete, you get your scholarship checks, stipend, your food, your travel, all that stuff, and you almost feel like it's magical bank account. And then I got done and I came back and I started working here, and you start really understanding how this model works, and it's off of our donors that help support, whether it's facilities or scholarships, food, whatever that is, each individual program. This runs because of them. The opportunity to be able to help launch the careers of our student athletes was extremely important for me. I love Oregon State. I bleed orange and black, and I wouldn't do it for any other university. And that's because everything that Oregon State's given to me. I think of all the great moments that have happened, from playing, getting the scholarship, and have the career that I had, and then go off and then have the life that I had of being able to be married to my beautiful wife, Julie, who is also a scholarship athlete here at Oregon State. She ran cross country and track, and then we ended up getting married, having 2 boys. I found my career. She had found her career as well. And then being able to come back to Oregon State, and then now being able to continue to pay it forward with our student athletes, and just being able to take care of the student athlete. That's really what it's about. And I tell their parents this, and I truly mean this when I tell them, is that when their kids come to Oregon State, I want to make sure that I take care of them the way that I would want somebody to take care of my boys. And I truly do mean that. It's a family here. I love them. I want to see them be successful. It's just amazing to be able to have that opportunity to do that. I will forever feel like I'm indebted to Oregon State to continuously help, to continuously give back, and it's because of that scholarship.
Serna trying to come through for the 3rd time today. Snap down, kick by Serna is on the way, and it is good!